What ingredient spoils a food dish for you if it's in it? I am one of the unlucky few that cannot eat cilantro because to me it tastes the way that a dead fish tank smells. People won't believe me. My parents, my fiancé when we first started dating, and try to slip it into dishes to show me I'm just being picky, but I can always tell because it just tastes awful to me. I wish it didn't. Apparently it's a genetic thing, like when people can smell asparagus in their pee. Okay, so not exactly the answer to the question, but if you pack a lunch and put a banana in the bag, it contaminates everything with banana taste. I like bananas, but they spoil anything they're packed with. I can immediately tell if something was packed in the same bag or container as a banana. Think those Cheez-Its are going to taste crunchily, cheesily, fantastic in your lunch. Wrong, if a banana is housed in the same bag. Introducing banana Cheez-Its. Edit, OMG this blew TF up. Thank you all for agreeing with me about the insidiousness of bananas. Every bagged lunch is nightmare. Same my dude. It took me years to convince my mom to stop buying bananas. She didn't even eat them and just kept forcing me to. Imagine bananas that are so ripe you need to use them in banana bread inside your lunch pail. Open it up and bam, bananas asshole wafting into your face. So soft it feels like it's been pre-chewed for you. I still hate bananas to this day. I've never had real truffles, but truffle oil tastes and smells like Glade made a musty garlic-scented air freshener plug-in and someone dumped that all over your plate of pasta or french fries or whatever the hell it's trendy to put it on. No real flavor, just a bad perfume that coats your palate. Should be sold at Bath & Body Works for unbearable hipsters, not food stores. Actual truffles sound cool though. I like the whole lore of smart little pigs rooting around for them in the forest. Oh, same. It's disgusting. I know we all have our own tastes, but I can't comprehend how someone would actually enjoy that taste. I can always tell, and now I just check ingredients. I will eat literally anything as long as it's actual food, but that stevia taste is undrinkable to me. It also hurts my stomach, which I can't quite understand, as it's unmetabolized by us. One late night many years ago I decided I was going to start an anime, but I wanted something to snack on. I went to my kitchen and grabbed some queso dip and chips, then headed back. I'm probably 5 or 6 chips in when I'm realizing there's a funny taste to the queso dip. I turn on my phone flashlight to the horror of a jar full of moldy queso dip. Immediately puked. Check expiration dates religiously now. Celery, no. It's not the texture. It has a strong flavor that is really bitter. Edit. Wow, my first rewards ever. Thank you so much. I didn't know so many people agreed with me. People look at me like I'm crazy when I say I hate celery. It took 18 years before my grandmother realized that I would eat her macaroni salad if she wouldn't put celery in it. I told her I didn't like celery growing up, but she thought I'd grow to like it and thought I just hated macaroni salad. No. I can't just pick it out. No, it's not prepared wrong. Yes, it's been properly washed. No, my distaste for celery does not make me crazy. My craziness is unrelated to my taste in food. For those who are asking, I hate it in every way, raw or cooked / steamed / stewed, with or without other things. A few people mentioned about how this is likely a genetic thing, like the cilantro tastes like soap thing. I have looked into it and believe this is very likely. My soul will refuse to eat very few foods, but anything with celery in it is on that short list. I am beginning to think that there is something similar to the well-documented cilantro tastes like soap gene that makes celery an intensely loud and awful flavor. For me, I barely even notice the existence of celery in soup because it is such a background mild flavor. She, on the other hand, would smell it before even tasting it and find it repulsive. Thank you. I'm so tired of hearing that celery doesn't taste like anything. The smell of raw celery is enough to keep me from certain dishes. It's more than just crunchy water, and there are plenty of substitutes if crunch is the only reason to add it to a dish. Just as bad for me as celery seed. I don't know why people want their food to taste this way. No judgment. It's just not for me. It's particularly disappointing in salad dressings or herb dip mixes. It overpowers the whole dish. Unintentional bone. Oh, don't worry, I picked out all the bones before cooking it. I only eat boneless chicken because of this. Edit, this really blew up. 3 Thanks for all the upvotes in my first award. Edit 2. I'm not going to become a vegan. To each their own, but I'm not going to stop eating eggs or drinking milk simply for this very avoidable and rare scenario. I'm not here to preach what diets to do or not. I just wanted to vent about a personal problem I have with the sentence. I've removed all the bone from it myself. What's weird is that I like raisins as a snack. But when you get those same raisins in something that makes them moist, then they are awful. People here have the tendency of putting raisins in dumplings and it completely ruins them, particularly when they put too many of them. I love fried dumplings and my mom seems to only make them fried when they have raisins in them, ensuring I will hate them or have to take time taking them out. I used to feel this way too, but then I got to try some higher quality tonics and, damn. The difference is amazing, from those tiny artsy bottles to the liter bottles of Schweppes or whatever. The good ones just taste like adult lemonade, Fever Tree, or sparkling grapefruit water, Imperial. Those two allowed me to acquire the taste for it. The cheap stuff is still nasty though and always will be. BTW, the cheap stuff almost never has quinine in it, they just artificially flavor it. Like how banana or grape-flavored lollies taste nothing like a real banana or grape. I don't order a G&T at a bar without asking what tonic they used because of the enormous difference it makes. Point is, not all tonics are created equal, and nail polish remover is pretty accurate for the cheap and nasty stuff, even for someone who likes tonic. Now, went to a Korean BBQ the other night, the type where they bring meats, and you put them on a fire grill in front of you and cook it. Had to use their shellfish allergy menu so they know to be careful with cross-contamination. Lots of meats arrive like normal, until we start getting extra meats. Turns out, the food runner was dropping off another table's meat. Went home with a swollen tongue and tightening throat because shellfish cross-contamination. Hooray! Same here. As a kid, if there was even the slightest hint of onion, raw or cooked, I would instantly projectile vomit. My dad thought I was a picky eater. No, Dad, Mom just puts those nasty things in everything. I'll still spit out a bite if there's onion in it, but I eat cooked ones now if they're so cooked there's no texture left. I can't do raw tomatoes. It's probably the only food I absolutely can't eat. Cook those tomatoes and I'm down. Tomato soup. Fine. When I was a kid I didn't like them, and my dad would punish me for crying and wanting to go back to my mom's by forcing me to eat tomatoes. He'd put like a pile of cherry tomatoes in front of me and I couldn't get up till I ate them, and he'd laugh when I started gagging. So I guess it's no surprise I don't like them today. I wish I liked them though. They smell so good. Like a beautiful Capri salad looks incredible, but I just can't do it. McDonald's once had a sandwich that had blue cheese in it, and this happened while I was working there as a young teen. Lots of customers lost their shit because it wasn't their sandwich. One guy even threw his sandwich at an employee because of it. We learned quickly that people needed to be told beforehand when they ordered that particular sandwich that it had blue cheese in it. Some people would say that's awesome, I love blue cheese, and others requested the sandwich sans cheese. How is this not the absolute number one? The texture, the mocky flavor. They ruin absolutely everything they touch. I keep trying them, as people assure me certain ones are nice, but these are a hard nope across the board for me. I do have issues with other squidgy textures, clams, squid, but it's easier to avoid the likes of those in restaurants. Yeah, it pisses me off that so many restaurant chains have what would otherwise be a delicious chicken sandwich with these shit fuck pickles in them. Some restaurants make them sans pickles if you ask. Chick-fil-A, while others just unwrap a made sandwich and peel the pickles off, leaving that pickle piss juice behind. KFC and Popeyes. I have a huge texture thing with food, so anything with the soft outside and crunch through the middle, such as onions, raw or cooked, diced chilies, Diced green chilies are what I especially hate, and any nuts. While I love the taste, I hate crunching on them. Very annoying to my family and at restaurants, but I physically gag when I crunch through one of those things. The first time I ever had spinach at all, it was frozen spinach that was then cooked. At a friend's house when I was a kid, I ate what I could. It wasn't until I was a teenager that my parents introduced us to fresh spinach, and it's been one of my favorite salad ingredients ever since. But God, either thawed frozen spinach or cooked spinach, no thank you. I think that cooked or thawed spinach is possible to make good things out of. It's just hard. Quiche and spinach dip both can be pretty good, but if the cooked spinach is plain, I'm noping out of there. I also use frozen spinach in smoothies sometimes, if I feel like making it a bit healthier. You can't really taste it in small quantities, and since it's a smoothie, the texture also isn't an issue. Cilantro, coriander, I got doubly screwed. Not only do I have that genetic mutation that makes it taste and smell like soap to me, I'm also allergic to the leaves. I can't even touch it without getting a rash on my hands, and just being around it makes me queasy because it's not the clean, pleasant soapy smell, it's a noxious and overpowering one. To make matters worse, I'm the only member of my household who can't eat the stuff, and the rest of them love it and add it to their own portions of all kinds of foods. Mustard, I literally cannot stand it, not in just the I don't want it in my burger way. If someone makes a roast, I can immediately tell if they used mustard to coat it. If there are steaks, I can smell that nasty mustard before I even slice into it. Salads, I legit don't eat any potato or macaroni salad because people are always putting in a tablespoon for disgusting mustard. Only two exceptions: deviled egg and a Dylan mustard sauce I learned from HelloFresh. Because I can definitely taste the mustard in them both, but I think it tastes wonderful. Pineapple, the taste is reminiscent of bottom vomit, the smell is gross, too, and the stringy texture is off-putting. What devil person dreamed up pineapple pizza? Warm, mushy pineapple is even more acidic, and the smell of it makes me feel queasy, like I'm smelling someone's fresh puke. Ugh, I'm feeling grossed out describing it. Yeah, anything with pineapple is a no from me. Cheese, I refuse to eat anything if it has cheese. I once went to Whataburger to buy a Whataburger meal, said no cheese like 3 times, drove all the way home and got comfortable to eat, and when I opened up my burger and saw the cheese inside my burger, it felt like sadness washed over me and I threw the whole damn thing away. Chili peppers of any kind, they make your mouth hurt and overtake the whole meal so that you can't taste anything else. They make eating into some kind of macho trial, and just about any meal can be surprise spicy hot, even when you let the cook know beforehand that you can't eat spicy hot things. Please, cooks, please understand that some people really don't like hot stuff. It's like trying to eat while someone hits you in the face. Turmeric. God, I absolutely despise anything with turmeric in it. It didn't help that my dad seemed to believe it was the miracle spice when I was a kid and literally added it to every dish he could possibly get away with. The taste, the smell, everything about it just makes me want to gag. Doesn't help being labeled as a fussy eater because I didn't like the vast majority of the things my dad cooked. I wasn't really aware of what different spices were when I was small, so I had no way of telling him to politely fuck off with his yellow devil's ball scratchings. Thank you very much. When I am eating sushi and there is cucumber in that shit, I always get annoyed. Eating some good ass sushi and then suddenly you get assaulted by this shitty, barely flavored crunchy piece of shit filler they put in just to make it look bigger. It's not even bad that it is crunchy, but for God's sake just put something in that contributes to the flavors that are already in there, not some water flavored piece of garbage. Raw tomatoes. I love cooked tomato, umami goodness concentrated into food, but raw tomatoes taste like opening your mouth and letting the devil fart in it. It's slimy and so wet it turned bread. croutons and everything wonderfully crunchy into wet mush within 10 seconds of contact. Its taste stands out to me so much regardless of quality or variety. You could add a single tomato cube into a bowl of salad drenched in mayo or a giant burger and I can tell once I've bitten into it. Peas can be a similar thing but are at least bearable or even nice in certain dishes. Raw tomato will always suck. Went to my ex's parents one year for Thanksgiving. We were making pumpkin pie and it was all ready to go until her mom wanted one more thing on top, she said. She took whole cherries and pushed them down into every slice of pie. I mean like a kid poking the ground beef packages at the grocery store, knuckle deep. Fucking disgusting. Ruined the whole pie. Onions are what comes out of Satan's asshole after he's spent the night eating greasy food and cheap beer. I hate them so much and for whatever reason people want to challenge me on it. If I cut them up really small you won't even notice. Or even more infuriating is when they somehow think it's a win for them if they sneak onions in and I don't, bitch. I knew it had onions in it, Carl. I always know. Onion hate gang are, onion hate. Raisins. I hate raisins in cookies, oatmeal, any dish at all. The consistency and flavor of them ruin everything. The big raisin industry has just tried to indoctrinate us all with the idea that they belong in these dishes when in reality I see through the BS and it's just the grape industry trying to turn a profit on their unused, spoiled, rotten, shriveled up grapes. Don't know which ingredient does it, but I can't handle like 99% of protein powders, keto smoothies, drinkable meal substitutes, etc. There is something that makes them taste so nastily, gag-inducingly bitter. I just can't deal with it. I tried so many already and I give them to my husband who doesn't taste anything weird or bitter about them at all. I just want some quick protein for working out. Why you gotta do me like this? I guess no one else wants to say it but, bacon. I cannot understand the obsession with bacon as a topping, especially bacon bits. Like why would you put bacon on a burger, that is pork on top of an already large hunk of a different kind of meat, and then when it's added on pizza? That's all I can fucking taste. Like please let me enjoy the great taste of melted mozzarella and dough and tomato sauce without an overbearing taste of pork. Pepperoni is good though. Bacon by itself though, heavenly, especially when it's burnt a bit. Macaroni and cheese. Hear me out. I spent years in a foster home with a special needs kid that we all absolutely adored. Seriously the heart of the whole place and a real joy to be around. But this guy loved macaroni and cheese with an unbridled passion. So every day when the foster mother would step onto the back porch and ask us what we wanted, the kids would swarm her and scream pizza, or hamburgers, or whatever. But no matter what we decided, macaroni and cheese was always a side. To this day I can't stand the smell of the stuff. It literally gags me and I have no idea why. My time with that family wasn't bad in any way, but I still have this weird-ass food trauma from the whole thing. Shrug. Nerve. Cartilage and meat. I recently gave pho another try. I chose the most normal sounding meat pho. It was something like beef pho or brisket pho. When it arrived at the table, my stomach dropped. It looked gross with that big ass nervy bony allergy clump and so much fat I basically didn't eat the meat and I struggled sipping that broth. Mushrooms. I'm not allergic. I just don't like mushrooms. Up to the point I'll like gag and throw up if I eat one. I don't even hate them. It's like a subconscious thing. I think it goes back to when I was a kid and my mother probably force-fed me mushrooms that tasted like ass. Still love her cooking now, and ever since then I've avoided mushrooms like the plague. You cannot get me to eat a mushroom. I will starve on a deserted island if the only thing there is to eat is mushrooms. Are there like any dishes with mushroom that'll help get rid of this subconscious BS? I'd like to try one, but it's like a mental thing that blocking me. Help. Burritos. Pumpkin seeds. I used to be able to eat them just fine, but a few years ago ate a pumpkin seed and ended up in the air. My stomach swells up and I am in bad shape if I eat one. They put that in a lot of salad dressings too, which I also use to be able to eat. I don't have to go to the ER if it happens now, but I do have to spend a few hours close to a bathroom, and that is if I can take a bunch of Benadryl, diphenhydramine, and Advil quickly.